Long ago, Beaver was very great. Beavers stood upright and they walked on their hind legs and they stood as tall as any human being. Furthermore, Beaver was highly intelligent and very, very spiritual. Beavers have the ability to improve the environment and they would make it hospitable for themselves and for other animals as well. And Beaver had families that would work together to build these earth lodges. And the lodges were so well put together that in the winter, Beaver didn't have to go get wood and make fire or anything for warmth because the lodges were always comfortable. In fact, Beaver didn't have to wear clothes or robes of any kind because they were blessed with beautiful fur that covers their body. And Beaver has very sharp, fine teeth which allow it to fell trees. And Beaver would often cut the trees and leave them for their two-legged neighbors, whom Beaver had grown to pity. And in exchange for the trees, all Beaver asked for was just some of the tender bark and the twigs that it would store for winter food. See, during the warm weather, Beaver always was at the bottom of lakes and streams looking for roots and many other kinds of greens. And beavers also made roads and they constructed fine canals, which made transport and travel much easier. And they shared those paths with their neighbors. Yeah, the people learned many good things by observing Beaver. Beaver bathed several times a day, and soon people started adapting these habits of cleanliness and good grooming. Beaver were excellent parents and raised industrious and respectful children. So people started imitating the parenting skills of Beaver. Beaver worked hard to accomplish good deeds that would benefit the entire community. They did not fight and quarrel among themselves, and they did not make enemies of their neighbors. They experienced no jealousy when others excelled. Therefore, as time went on, Beaver prospered more than people. Beaver became greater than man. So, a delegation of men went to Creator, and they went to remind him that the human beings were supposed to be the greatest of all created things. And they pointed out that Beaver had surpassed the people in many things, and they demanded that the Creator do something to return everything to their original roles and reduce the power and stature of Beaver. Creator said, if the people need an advantage over Beaver in order to surpass him, I will limit Beaver's stature. And I will cause him to desire only to live in and on the water. And so the delegates were very pleased with that outcome. And they returned to their lodges satisfied. The beavers, they didn't diminish all at once, but each generation became smaller than the last until they became the size of the beaver that we know today. But Creator allowed Beaver to retain all their previous skills. They are still intelligent, industrious, and generous. They still work together to modify their habitat and build secure lodges, which they share with their extended families and others. They are still affectionate and considerate and kind. Beavers do not fight and quarrel among themselves, and they have only a very few enemies. Of course, Beaver's greatest enemy is man. Man, who learned so many things from our little brother, but failed to learn the most important lesson of all, which is the lesson of building inclusive communities.